How to read people's emotions without them saying a word. Have you ever wondered what someone is really feeling, even when they're saying everything's fine? What if you could understand their true emotions without them saying a word? Imagine being able to pick up on the subtle cues that most people completely miss, like a fleeting facial expression, a shift in posture, or a change in tone of voice. These invisible signals can reveal far more than words ever could. In this video, we're unlocking the secret to reading people's emotions like a pro. Whether it's a slight eye movement or a nervous fidget, these tiny, almost unnoticed cues are key to understanding what someone is really thinking or feeling. We're diving deep into the hidden world of body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, and much more to show you how to decode emotions with incredible accuracy. No guesswork, no assumptions, just raw, unspoken signals that tell you exactly what's going on beneath the surface. If you've ever struggled to read between the lines in a conversation or wanted to know what someone is truly thinking, then this video is for you. By the end, you'll have a toolkit of techniques to interpret emotions without a single word being spoken. So, let's get started and discover how you can master the art of reading people effortlessly. 1. Micro-expressions reveal hidden emotions. Micro-expressions are incredibly brief facial expressions that flash across a person's face, lasting less than a second. They are involuntary and often occur when someone's trying to hide their true feelings. These tiny, fleeting moments can tell you exactly how someone is feeling, even if their words say otherwise. For example, someone might tell you they're fine, but a quick flash of sadness, a brief clenching of the jaw, or a brief frown can reveal a deeper emotion they're trying to suppress. These micro-expressions are universal, meaning they happen the same way across all cultures, making them an invaluable tool in understanding people. Psychologists like Dr. Paul Ekman have spent years studying these tiny facial cues, and his research has proven that we all share common emotional expressions. For instance, when someone is surprised, their eyebrows raise, eyes widen, and mouth opens slightly, all in the blink of an eye. To practice spotting these, start by paying close attention to people's faces during conversations, especially when discussing emotionally charged topics. You'll soon start to catch these tiny emotional signals and use them to understand someone's true feelings. The more you practice, the better you'll become at noticing them. Micro-expressions don't lie, they're a direct window into someone's emotional world. 2. Watch for posture changes. Posture is a silent, yet incredibly powerful communicator of emotions. How someone holds their body can tell you volumes about what they're feeling, even without saying a word. People don't always realize how much their posture changes based on their emotions, which is what makes this such a reliable indicator. When someone is confident, they stand or sit tall with their chest open, shoulders back, and chin slightly lifted. But when they feel insecure, uncomfortable, or defensive, they may slouch their shoulders, cross their arms, or lean away from you. Imagine you're in a meeting, and one of your colleagues shifts from an open posture, sitting up straight, to suddenly leaning back in their chair or crossing their arms. These subtle changes can be huge red flags that they feel either attacked, uncomfortable, or not engaged in what's being discussed. To get better at reading posture, start by observing someone's baseline behavior. Do they typically sit with good posture or slouch? If you notice a shift from their normal stance, it's a sign that something has triggered an emotional response. Pair this with other cues, such as facial expressions or tone of voice, and you'll have a much clearer understanding of how they feel. Posture is a silent signal, but it speaks loudly about emotions. 3. Eye movements reveal thoughts. The eyes have long been called the windows to the soul, and for good reason. They can reveal a person's emotions, thoughts, and even what they're trying to hide. Pay close attention to where and how someone looks, this can often provide more information than their words ever will. For instance, rapid blinking can indicate stress or discomfort, while prolonged eye contact usually signifies confidence or deep interest. If someone avoids your gaze, it could mean they're feeling embarrassed, shy, or even guilty. But be careful, avoidance doesn't always equate to dishonesty. Eyes also tell a lot about memory and imagination. If someone looks up to the left, they might be recalling a memory, while looking up to the right can indicate they're trying to visualize something. These distinctions are incredibly useful when trying to gauge someone's internal state. For example, during a serious conversation, if someone's eyes are darting around, they could be feeling anxious or perhaps avoiding something they're not comfortable sharing. Understanding these patterns allows you to better understand their thoughts and emotions, even if they aren't speaking openly. The key is to look for eye movement patterns and combine them with the context of the situation to get a fuller picture of someone's emotional state. 4. Observe their hands. Hands are often overlooked when it comes to reading emotions, but they are an incredibly expressive part of the body. They can reveal exactly how someone is feeling, sometimes more than their words can. People might try to hide their emotions, but their hands will often betray them. Fidgeting, tapping fingers, or clenched fists often indicate nervousness, frustration, or anxiety. These movements are involuntary and are often signals of inner turmoil. On the other hand, open palms usually signify trust, openness, or honesty. If someone is hiding their hands or clasping them tightly, they might be feeling uncomfortable or defensive. For example, imagine you're in a conversation and the person is nervously tapping their fingers on the table. This could mean they're anxious or uneasy about the discussion. Conversely, if they're calmly resting their hands on the table with open palms, it suggests they're more relaxed and receptive. To start reading hands, pay attention to their gestures and movements during different emotional exchanges. A slight change in the way they use their hands can be a big clue to what they're really feeling. Hands may seem subtle, but they're powerful emotional indicators that give insight into someone's mental and emotional state. 5. Listen to the tone of voice. The tone of someone's voice can reveal far more than the words they speak. A person's emotional state often comes through in the pitch, volume, and cadence of their voice. For instance, a shaky voice can indicate nervousness or anxiety, while a monotone delivery might suggest boredom or disinterest. If someone raises the pitch of their voice at the end of a sentence, it can signify uncertainty or lack of confidence. A flat, emotionless tone could suggest that the person is suppressing their true feelings or that they're emotionally distant. For example, if someone tells you they're excited about a new project, but their voice is flat and unenthusiastic, it's a clue that they might not actually feel as excited as they're letting on. Conversely, if someone suddenly starts speaking louder or faster during a tense conversation, it could signal that their emotions are becoming heightened or they're becoming defensive. To master this skill, pay attention to the rhythm of their speech. Are they speaking faster, slower, or in a more measured way? Tone provides valuable context for understanding how someone is truly feeling, so always listen closely to the underlying emotion behind their words. 6. Breathing patterns tell you a lot. Breathing is often a subconscious action, but it's a powerful indicator of someone's emotional state. When people are anxious, nervous, or stressed, their breathing often becomes shallow or rapid. On the other hand, deep, slow breaths usually signal calmness, relaxation, or control. Changes in someone's breathing patterns can give you insight into how they're handling the situation at hand, often before they consciously realize it themselves. For example, if someone's breathing becomes uneven or quickens when you bring up a difficult topic, it's a sign that they're feeling anxious or uncomfortable. A sudden, deep sigh can indicate relief, frustration, or resignation. These changes are often subtle, so it's important to pay attention to their breath as part of the overall emotional picture. If someone is holding their breath, it could mean they're trying to control their emotions or are unsure about how to react. Breathing patterns are a subtle but powerful way to understand a person's emotional state in real time. 7. Look for speech patterns. The way someone structures their sentences can reveal a lot about their emotional state. If a person is feeling stressed, uncertain, or anxious, they might use repetition, hesitation, or overly complicated explanations in an attempt to clarify or defend themselves. Frequent pauses or the use of filler words like or like often signal nervousness or discomfort. Conversely, overly detailed responses may be a way of deflecting or avoiding the real issue. For instance, someone who keeps repeating themselves might be trying to convince you, or even themselves, of something. On the other hand, someone who is overly vague or avoids answering directly could be trying to hide their true feelings. Pay attention to the rhythm of their speech. Are they speaking more quickly when they're nervous? Or do they slow down when they're trying to avoid a topic? Speech patterns can be incredibly revealing, and the key is to notice any deviations from their usual way of speaking, especially when the topic is emotionally charged. 8. Notice their proximity to you. Proximity, the physical distance someone maintains during a conversation, can provide valuable clues about their emotional state. If someone stands or sits too close, they may be trying to assert dominance, showing intense interest, or even testing your boundaries. Alternatively, if they maintain a larger physical distance, it could indicate discomfort or a need for space. Proximity is often linked to comfort levels. When we feel at ease, we tend to move closer to those we trust. However, if someone is leaning back or stepping away, it's a sign that they feel overwhelmed or uneasy. For example, if someone is leaning in during a conversation, it's a good indication that they're engaged and interested. On the flip side, if they suddenly step back or avoid making eye contact, it might suggest that they're feeling overwhelmed, defensive, or disconnected. To interpret proximity accurately, observe how the person usually behaves. If their physical distance shifts dramatically during a conversation, it's a clue that their emotional state is shifting too. 9. Notice their energy levels. Energy levels are often linked to a person's emotional state. When someone is excited, enthusiastic, or happy, they tend to have higher energy levels, which is reflected in their body movements, speech patterns, and overall demeanor. Low energy, on the other hand, can indicate sadness, fatigue, or disinterest. These shifts in energy can happen quickly and often reveal how someone is really feeling, even if they're trying to hide it. For example, if someone who is usually upbeat suddenly becomes quiet or lethargic, it's likely that something is bothering them. Conversely, if their energy spikes, they could be feeling anxious, enthusiastic, or agitated. To read energy levels accurately, compare how the person is behaving now to their usual baseline. If their energy has significantly changed, it's a clear sign that their emotional state has shifted, giving you deeper insight into how they feel. 10. Trust your intuition. Sometimes, your gut feeling can be the most powerful tool in reading someone's emotions. As humans, we are wired to pick up on subtle emotional cues, even if we can't fully explain why something feels off. If something doesn't seem right, chances are it's not. Your intuition is constantly processing emotional cues that you may not consciously recognize, such as micro-expressions, body language, and tone. So, when you sense discomfort, anxiety, or tension, trust that instinct. It's important, though, not to jump to conclusions. Instead, use your gut feeling as a starting point for further observation. Ask thoughtful questions or give the person space to open up. Often, your intuition will be picking up on small details like someone's eyes darting around or their tone suddenly changing that point to an emotional shift. When you combine your intuition with the other techniques we've discussed, you can read people's emotions with remarkable accuracy. 11. Spotting guilt and deception. When someone is hiding the truth or feeling guilty, their body language and actions often betray them. People who are trying to cover up guilt may become overly defensive or even exaggerate their innocence, saying things like, "I could never do something like that," or "How could anyone even think I'd do that?" This overcompensation is often a defense mechanism designed to deflect suspicion, but it can have the opposite effect. People who are deceiving or feeling guilty might also laugh or smile nervously during serious moments to mask their discomfort. Look for contradictions between what they're saying and how they're acting. If their words seem too rehearsed or their emotions feel out of sync with the situation, it could be a sign that they're hiding something. By noticing these subtle inconsistencies, you can gain insight into what they're truly feeling. This skill is invaluable in situations where you need to understand if someone is being honest or hiding something from you.